Hello, everyone, and thanks for giving us a listen. If you'd like to show our support, please check out our Patreon and Linktree under Interactive Distractions for access to additional Day 1 content, as well as to be part of our awesome community. Thanks again, and we hope you continue to be distracted.
Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions, episode number 440. My name is Chris Ferriccio, and I am here with Travis Baum.
Hello.
Jason A. Stryker.
Oh, hi. How's it going?
And Jeff Chorney.
Oh, what up, guys?
And we've got a couple of new things on the docket this week for Distractions for sure. And I think we've got some stuff that we're going to talk about from the community. So before we do that, let's get into it. Travis, what's up, dude? How are you?
I am doing quite well. Had a busy weekend. Did some hanging out with some pals, and also Melissa and I went down to North Hollywood and saw Aladdin on Broadway. Not on Broadway, but the Broadway performance of Aladdin.
You saw it at the theater.
At the theater, yeah. We went to Pantages in Hollywood and caught that. That is a
Pantages. What the hell is Pantages?
It's the name of the theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Theater.
Yeah, and it was good. I'm a theater kid. I've been doing plays. I mean, I don't do it anymore, but I've been in theater since I was, I don't know, like 9 or 10. So it's something that whenever there's an interesting play that comes into town that tours nationally, I tend to go see it, and Melissa's a big fan too. So yeah, we went and saw that. It was a great performance. It's a play that actually does a lot of like stunts and a lot of stage work. For instance, like, everybody's seen Aladdin the cartoon. There's a moment where there's a magic carpet ride with Aladdin and Jasmine.
No way.
And and they got an actual magic carpet, guys.
Whoa,
how about that?
That is fucking cool.
Where do you get one of those?
They did some cool things. They did some really cool things with that. Like, for instance, they would take the backdrop is like a dark night sky, but they had this like mnemonic arm that was also pitch black sticking out of the back of the stage, and that was carrying the magic carpet all over the place, and the actors are on top of it singing the song, and it was just a great. And they did it all throughout the play, and like highlights like Friend Like Me with the Genie's main song. Like they're throwing stunts all over the place, and the Genie's pulling props out of thin air, and it's just a lot of cool stuff. It was a great play. Highly recommend it if you're into musical theater. But other than that, I mean, that's been playing an awful. I'm going to keep it short because I've been spending most of my time playing an awful lot of video games, or one video game.
I got something I wanted to comment on this. This is good
what's
stuff,
up,
man. So I don't know if I mentioned this on the show or not. Like, both my kids are currently in drama club. So they're both they started rehearsals this week. So my son's not actually playing. He's cast as an extra, but he's been filling in for parts during rehearsals. Like, he's at every rehearsal, and he's been filling in for parts. And I'm like, that's what you do, man. You go in, you do what you got to do. But I'm also trying to get them to come with me to a play because, like Jason and Travis, I think you guys will know this place, Dad's Garage.
Yep.
So they are doing a production of Wicket. And I'm not sure if you guys, and if you're not familiar with Wicket, it's basically, Wicket is the name of the small Ewok that helps Leia in Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And Wicket, the play, is like a parody of Return of the Jedi that is actually
from the Ewok's point of view.
From the Ewok's point of view.
Yes,
so
nice.
I think that sounds amazing. So I bring the kids to it.
I actually thought you were saying Wicked.
Wicked in the wrong
play.
way.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I was.
Okay. I was like, that's an amazing. That's actually a really tough play to do in a community theater. That's actually impressive.
But yeah, Dad's Garage is like just as Travis said, it's a smaller community theater, but they do some really good stuff, and
they do.
It's a really,
I've been there
really cool atmosphere. Yeah, me too. But yeah, I just want to kind of add that to yours. So, but moving on.
moving on. Jason.
Yo, hi. The in-laws are here. And immediately upon them getting here, Fox News came on. And I'm like, oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
I canceled our YouTube TV, so we didn't have it. So they actually logged into theirs. They actually went out and figured out how to get logged into their YouTube account on our TVs, on our smart TVs. That's gumption right there.
Wow,
Oh, man.
Okay.
That's some serious dedication. But I put together this guy. Let's see. There we go.
Oh, nice.
It's an arcade stick.
Okay,
It's a
all right.
leverless arcade stick. So, like,
What
this is
What does that mean?
that there's no stick.
Hitbox,
There's
basically.
no stick.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
hitbox. So, like, this is left, this is down, this is right, and then down here in your thumb, that's up. That's your jump. So it's.
How do you play a fighting game that way? Like, I don't.
I
get
mean,
the-
You just get used to using the
Yeah.
buttons instead of using a joystick.
It's like using
it's like-
WASD,
yep.
Yeah,
basically.
it's like using WASD on the PC.
Wow,
there are
okay.
people that use a keyboard to play fighting games. It's
Totally.
not much different.
And I always used to laugh at those people because I thought they were poor and couldn't afford a fighting stick. But
I don't think I'd ever
now-
give a try to one of those.
But now,
I'm too old.
I've got like a junk food arcades one, but it's like really thin and it's very small. So I was not having much luck with it because it kept shifting around on my lap. So I got a bigger one, hoping that this will work out. I have a lot of nerve damage in my like last two fingers on my left hand. So we'll see how this holds up. But I'm able to rest my hand, so that helps a little bit. But I don't know. I see a lot of people using these things, and it's supposed to be more precise. And I don't know. It's a hobby.
Interesting.
It's just
Okay.
it's fun. We'll put it together. I got an encoder coming in, but I'm just going to go with a cheap encoder, like a Raspberry Pi one. Those are like $25 as opposed to like the Brook encoders, which are like $75 to $100 or more, depending on what you get. So, and I've already got one of the Wingman things that'll convert like anything I have to a PS5, so I could play on there with that.
Whenever you start training with that, Jason, I need you to go ahead and pull me into some matches because I feel like this is the only opportunity I get to just smash you. Like I just, yeah.
Yeah, I can't even jump properly. So like I'm gonna have to
Oh,
rewire
great.
I'm gonna have to
This sounds
rewire
awesome.
my head around a whole hell of a lot. But that's it for me. That's what I've got on my plate. In-laws and fighting sticks. Not even sticks. You know what I mean.
Well, building
you
shit,
know what you mean.
Yeah.
being productive, doing something.
Yeah, doing something.
I didn't do
Jeff?
much. Yeah, I didn't do much. Kind of, Tanya had the week off last week, so we did some stuff where I could kind of get out of the house here and there because technically I was still working. Technically, so yeah. One thing I did do that I didn't get around to doing in theaters, but I need to bring it up on here because it's somewhat related. Is I finally saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes, it's
Holy
so good.
That like, I think it's probably my favorite superhero movie ever.
That's
And it might be one of
That's
my
a lot.
top 5 movies of all time.
Wow.
I need to watch it again though. I really liked it.
Yeah,
like
there's a lot going on.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite part about that movie is how well they blend all the different art styles
Mhm.
from the different universes. Like it makes the visual without any dialogue at all. You're seeing a story unfold just from the different types of art that's happening in the movie. It's great. I gotta admit though, like I don't know if you guys knew this. I didn't know it was a 2-part thing going into it.
Mhm.
I
So
didn't
at the
know
end,
either.
I was thinking, man, this movie's really long. And then
That is the only thing that my only critique of everything I didn't really like was that. But
It's
that's
just not
only
enough of it.
because only because I was like, fuck, I want to see what happens, and I was like, no. But yeah, no, it was good, and my one worry was
the same way too.
Yeah, my one worry was so many characters being in it that it would stretch itself too thin, but they did such a good job with everyone. I thought it was so good. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm trying to convince Tanya. She's never seen the first one, so I convinced her to start watching it. Yeah, the next day. So I think I watched it myself when she was watching her like Vanderpump Rules or something, or something in the bedroom. So I threw it on Saturday and Sunday. I'm like, okay, you need to see this movie, but you need to see the first one first. It's one of those movies where I think you really need to see the first one. It doesn't really work if you don't.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, fine. And she fell asleep like an hour into it. And
Oh,
we were watching it
man.
like at night, like literally like before going to bed. So I kind of knew that was going to happen.
Mhm.
The only thing that means is we got to try again. So
Sorry, T. I can relate.
I'm embarrassed because I am a self-proclaimed Spider-Man fanatic,
Right.
and I have yet to see Across the Spider-Verse yet. I'm sad that I missed it in the theaters, but now I saw that this week it was available for rent. So Melissa and I already discussed it, that it needs to be a mandatory scheduled viewing at some point soon.
Good.
So hearing Jeff's glowing review about it, I'm so ready to watch it.
yeah, you should check it out this weekend if you have time.
Yeah.
But you
Good
should.
stuff.
That's required viewing before next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
We're gonna
Homework.
quiz you.
Chris, what about you, bud? What have you been up to
I
last
don't have a
week?
ton to add. Do I have anything to add? I don't have a ton to add.
What have you been playing then?
Still having PC, still having problems with my PC. So I'm hoping that it's going to hold up. But it literally shut down on me. Like as soon as I logged into the call, I was like, "Hey, Travis, how are you?" Gone, and that was it.
Awesome.
So that was frustrating.
I thought you were just being rude.
Nope, that was my computer just turning off, like powering down. So I've got a new power supply. I'm going to try and switch that out this weekend, and hopefully that fixes it. We'll see what happens.
I hope so.
But yeah, I hope so too, because I spent this is my first gaming rig since in over a decade, so I want it to last.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else. So yeah, like just said, let's talk about games.
Okay.
I know Travis has something new to talk about, so I want to go to Travis first.
Yeah. Liza P. This
Who's that?
Tell me about Liza P, because
Liza P.
interested.
Yeah,
Liza.
she's super hot.
Liza.
So it is. I'm just gonna straight up say it. I love it. I am currently about 70% done with my New Game Plus run already, and I finished the game.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I finished the game a day and a half ago and jumped immediately into New Game Plus. I'm going to platinum it. I never feel called to platinum a game. I think the last game was Spider-Man.
Okay.
And I have the same feelings. Like I need to get that trophy, that final platinum trophy. Got to have it. The game's phenomenal. Clearly, it is a very, very loyal Souls-like, almost to the point where there's that Oscar Wilde quote: "Imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery." If that is the case, if that is true, From Software must be thrilled right now, because they knocked. It almost embarrasses any other Souls-like game. There were some highs for me in the Souls-like genre. Like the Surge 1 and 2, I thought were very, very strong, brought some new ideas. Like in terms of like the core gameplay, like the feel and the combat of the game, they don't bring as much new as like what the Surge did. But if this was like a paint by numbers, they did not go outside the lines. They followed the script. Look at that guy. Big Griff.
Got a big pig nose. All right, get out of here. Next, love you.
Love you too.
Oh, that was so sweet. We need to get Griff. We need to get Griff on the show sometime soon. So where was I? Oh yeah, still talking about Liza.
Yep. Sorry.
So yeah, no, it takes what is great about what From Software did, and not just like Dark Souls, not just Bloodborne. There's a lot of Sekiro too. Like if you were to essentially draw a triangle diagram and have like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro at each point, this game fits damn near right in the middle, maybe even, and I say this strongly, a little bit edged over to Sekiro's corner. There is a lot of Sekiro in this game, and once I realized that, I started getting a little worried early on in my playthrough, because as you get deeper and deeper into the game, blocking and parrying system becomes so much more prevalent.
Sure.
The dodge is not as good or as powerful. The dodge is fine. It's not as powerful as previous From Software games. The iframes that are in the dodge are so pinpoint accurate, just as pinpoint accurate as the parrying system. I don't want that to scare people off, because I, who is a huge From Software fan, I never finished Sekiro. I probably couldn't get past the halfway point of the game.
Yeah, same.
It was just too it was too twitch, too pinpoint accurate, and I don't know what it is. It kind of makes me want to go back to Sekiro now and see how I feel about it, because I just get it. I get the feel of the parrying in this game, and it works so well for me. And it's massively important because, just like Sekiro, you have a stagger system built in. And it all just works and plays super refined. This is I don't know if this is this developer's first game. It's a South Korean developer. I don't know if this is their first game, but this is definitely their first Souls-like, and their inspirations shine through. The inspirations that they take in shine through.
Who is this? NeoWiz? Is that right?
I think it's NeoWiz is like one of the publishers.
Oh, okay.
Studio 8, I believe,
Gotcha.
is the developer. But it is it's fantastic. So obviously, like, the first thing people are going to see are the visuals, and the game is absolutely gorgeous from start to finish. If I'm looking for issues with graphical fidelity, I'd be nitpicking, like, aliasing in certain lighting situations when you turn the camera real fast, like, that's pretty prevalent, but that doesn't bother me as much. It's only when the light hits P's body at certain times and everything. So when you move the camera around fast, whether motion blur is on or off, you're going to have some of that. But again,
Sure.
A nitpick. It's not that big of a problem. But graphically, the game pushes Unreal Engine 4 to the max. It's probably easily the prettiest Unreal Engine 4 game that I've experienced. I'm really digging the visuals. And when you play the demo, which I know Jeff's completed the demo, there is some Bloodborne feel in there, super gothic, very dark, like really bleak tones. That's in a lot of this game, but they surprised me with how varied the environments get and everything. You have like slum towns, you have the city, you have slum towns, you have cathedrals, canyons, swamps. You can see things that are like their tip of the hat to Blighttown from Dark Souls 1. Like, so it was way more varied than I expected, because I thought everything was going to take place in Krat, the main town, and it definitely stretches out all over places, and not just like different areas of town, but like there are different. You can tell that the shit hit the fan in this world during some pretty big moments. Like there's a big technology expo going on, and you have to visit that area, and it's super varied versus other areas of Krat, which are kind of utterly destroyed. And it's a gorgeous game there. And they wear their inspirations on their sleeves, but there are certain areas of the game that the game really stands on its own, and that's where the weapons come in.
Okay.
There are a impressive amount of weaponry in this game, and I think most people know that their big change to the Soulsborne gumbo that they've basically stirred up here is that you can take most weapons, with the exception of weapons that you purchase using boss souls. Those can't be modified, but any normal weapon that you find, in chests laying on the ground, you get off enemies, you can, they're modular. So you can replace any blade with any hilt, and they all have their own special properties, special abilities. You can take a hilt of a dexterity weapon and put it on the heaviest hugest hammer that you have, which is a strength-based weapon. Mm-hmm. And then they also allow you to modify you can modify both sides, and all your hilts can be modified by changing the how you if you have like an A rank, what is it called? What is it called?
Scaling.
Scaling. There it is. Yeah, the scaling, the damage scaling and everything. So if you are a strength build, but you love the power on this hilt, you can change the scaling to a strength base. They give you that flexibility, which is really nice. And then when you upgrade,
give you a whole different moveset as well, or
so it does. So essentially, the blade is purely your damage.
Okay.
The blade is purely damage. And when you upgrade the blade, you're just upgrading its damage. You can't mess with the scaling on blades. So when you're upgrading your blade, you have different, they call them fable arts. So you have special moves that are attached to the triangle button or Y button on Xbox. And you can mix and match that if you think it synergizes with the fable art that's on your hilt. So you can kind of mix and match there. So right now I found a police baton that has the ability to like it almost like increases your damage by 60%. All right, and then on the blade, I put basically a huge heavy wrench head, which is a one of the strongest strength weapons in the game. But I can use that ability on the hilt to increase by 60% my damage. And then the reason I like the wrench, it's slow. It's not a flattering or good looking weapon. I kind of hate the weapon because it's not a fun weapon to use. Like there's a katana that I'm using that I just love, but it doesn't stand. Yeah, it's not as effective as this. But there's a triple charge move on the wrench head where when you hit that triple charge, and you have to wait, there's a build up to it, but it increases your damage by like 150%. So it's a 60% from the hilt and 150%, and it is a boss cleaner, man. It just wipes them out, and you just have to mess around and toy. And I haven't even scratched the surface. I'm going to be honest with you, with all the different combinations that are in this game for the weapons.
No
it's
question.
Really impressive.
Like I have a question about you said things scaling with strength and dexterity. Like you said, you had put a dex hilt on a strength blade. What does that become? Like, what does it scale off of then?
So it they would, so essentially, if you don't do anything, if you don't modify the hilt to become a strength weapon, you would have to put in points on both your strength and dexterity. In this game, they call it motivity and technique, but we're going to call it strength and dex. And you would have to get the correct scaling to get all the damage that you can muster out of that weapon. You would have to put points in both of those and kind of make a balanced quality build. In early goings of the game, you don't really have that opportunity. You really need to focus on one main thing. So yeah, you have these items that you can go to your weaponsmith and change it. You know, if I have like a C, it doesn't change it much. It doesn't make it a full blown like strength hilt. So like if the hilt had a like a technique of B and then a strength of C. So if you add the motility crank to it and modify the hilt, it decreases the dexterity by 1 and increases the strength by 1. So you can't, yeah. But on the flip side, though, you can also, if you're doing a dexterity build and you have a dexterity hilt, you can modify that with a dexterity crank and make that A scaling an S scaling. So you can also make it a better version of the build that you're doing. So there's tons and tons and tons of that. It's really it can be daunting, but luckily next to the they did a smart development move here right next to the weaponsmith. There's a yard that has a couple of training dummies on it, and you can just in 2 seconds you're out there, and they give you unlimited, not unlimited stamina, but they give you unlimited fable arts. They give you unlimited things, so you can just mess around with all of the different special abilities without having to like recharge your hilts or anything like that. So it's they really knew that people were like, we gave people this system to try out hundreds of combinations on these weapons. So they gave us a really easy way to just hop right outside and try those weapons out and everything. And I do that.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
quite a lot and everything. So the difficulty on the game, obviously, it is a Souls-like game, and it does get pretty difficult, especially when you're learning movesets. And if I have a gripe, it's the parrying system, which is crucial in this. It's so pinpoint accurate, and they have so many enemy attack animations in this game, and they're so varied, and you have to learn them, especially for your bosses and your mini bosses. And the mini bosses, in my opinion, I've had more trouble with mini bosses than I have had with like major story bosses in the game. It's and they all have like different swings, different slams, different special moves. That's like, they keep you guessing. Like it can get frustrating. Like you think an enemy has a similar move set to something that you're used to, and they'll run at you and they'll like swing, and they'll like really get ready to slam down, and then they'll like hold it there, like a quick hesitation, and then you're already blocking, and then bam, you mess it up and you get hit.
Son of a bitch.
It's all over the place. It happens constantly. Like even on my New Game Plus, like I feel pretty comfortable going through this game, and the difficulty of reading their moves can get super, super frustrating. But when you do land those attacks, it really increases the stagger meter and makes it easier. So it really, really forces you to, and the most times that I struggled in the game, I was not focusing on my blocking, not focusing on my parrying. Once you really stand your ground and focus on that, really reading those move sets, learning, it's so much easier learning bosses this way than it is, in my opinion, in like a Elden Ring or your standard type Souls game and everything, where there is no major parrying system that's so crucial to this game. So it really allowed me to like learn enemies a lot more efficiently than other games that even as From Software made. So I was really happy with that. And then you have like your Bloodborne mechanic. Every time if you do a perfect block, you're not going to lose stamina. You're not going to lose any health. It's just a perfect block, and you can keep on fighting. And sometimes you can even stun the enemy. But if you just do a normal block, enemy hits you, which is still a super, super viable way to play. If you do not get good at parrying, I think you would still be okay in this game. Because if you block, you'll take some chip damage, but then the Bloodborne system is in place where
you can get your health back.
You can get your health back pretty efficiently. So as long as you're like waiting until that enemy is done with its combo, you can pop, get you a few hits in, and your health's back. So that's there, and that's super helpful. So even if, like I said, if you're not good at parrying, you still have a fighting chance, which is really, really nice. And early on in the game, yes, they're hitting you for more damage than you can take, and sometimes you're not going to be able to, like the chip damage you take, you might not be able to like refill your health and everything. But the game does help you out along the way. There's a really, really rare item that gets dropped, from like mini bosses, or you find them in chests, and they're called quartz. And quartz are used to put into this system that is called, and it's named horribly, it's called the P organ.
No, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, it's the porgan.
P is for perfect.
Man.
So they and what it is, it's just basically a set of it's a map of abilities that you can unlock. And they're all clustered up. So like to complete a cluster that says like increase your pulse cells, which are your health potions. They have like they start off with having like 2 slots in them, and you have to pop in different passive abilities that are set up into categories. Like one category is for your attack damage, one category is for like item consumption, one is for kind of more defensive type stuff, or helping you with stagger. And then that's where you make your like you can get more health potions from that. You can make your health potions give you more health, all the way to increasing your like your heavy attacks can cause more stagger damage, or your running sliding attacks can cause more stagger damage. So many different passives. Now by the time I'm at in New Game Plus, like I'm really filling it out. Like you can do I think it'll probably take you about 3 new game pluses total to like completely fill out all the passives, but that helps you, not take as much damage from. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can take less damage from blocking, or when you take that chip damage, there's also passives for like when you attack, you get more your health back. So the game does way better of a job of making you stronger than what FromSoft or other Souls-likes have done in the past by just, here's more armor, here's stronger weapons, level up those weapons. And so, like, you actually get better in multiple facets of the game. Like your items, you only have the ability to put 3 items on your quick bar you have health potions, you have consumables, you have throwing items and everything. So you can increase the amount you carry, and also you can increase the bar itself. You can increase how many weapons you carry, how many Legion arms. There's just so much. And then you have the Legion arm. I haven't even discussed that yet. There's just so much to this game.
Arm.
It is similar to the Sekiro arm, but there's about 6 or 7, and they all do different abilities. And if anyone's like trying to figure out which Legion, if you're playing this game and you're figuring out what Legion arm's the best, just use the puppet string. That's like the scorpion. Get over here, because you can take somebody, you pull them to you. So if there's like a bunch of enemies in a cluster, or like they're standing in poison, you can pull them to you and start doing your combos. If there's one, you can actually take your puppet string and you can shoot towards them and land right next to them and start landing combos. And then the final upgrade that you get much later in the game is that if you hold the Legion arm button, like you'll shoot towards that person and fly up in the air and do this major stagger attack. And that also, coupled with my abilities that I was talking about earlier with the hilt and the blade, it's just a damage dealer, and it's really, really fun. So as much as I don't like the aesthetic and the moveset of my weapon, I love the damage that I'm doing and having a good time with it.
Sure.
And then, like I said, I beat the game pretty quickly a couple of days ago. And the last thing I'll say, unless you guys have any more questions,
I have one question.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Cause
are there any donkeys?
There is one donkey.
Okay.
There is one donkey. One thing this game did do the last couple of nights, I decided to pick up Carlo Collodi's The Adventures of Pinocchio, and I ended up reading all those serials. And it's really cool to see the different comparisons of what they pulled from the story and how they did it in the game. Like, in Pinocchio, like he eventually gets swallowed by like a whale. They do a pretty fun nod to that. Like, it wasn't what I expected, but once they did it, I was like, okay, there it is. That's pretty fun. I like that. So it was cool. I want to
get to it eventually.
Yeah, it's really, really great. And then once I beat it, the last thing I'll say is it is probably the greatest post-credit scene in a video game I have ever experienced. Probably
I saw you mention that on Discord.
Probably since Metal Gear Solid 1. It's that good. It's that good of a post-credit scene. I was blown away, and you immediately are begging for a sequel. And this game had like a 5 or 6 year development cycle. So I'm hoping now that the core of the game is built out, that hopefully we see only a 2 or 3 year turnaround time, because it's rare when you play something and you immediately want a sequel. You want to know where this goes next. And you get a little small taste. I think it is absolutely brilliant. Because the possibilities of what a sequel could be great. So yeah, Lies of P, it's cool. Good. I'm going to wait and really, really think about it until my New Game Plus run is done. But man, I'm struggling with whether or not I like this better than Final Fantasy 16. I don't think quite as much, because Final Fantasy is just so fresh and such an original thing, but a great story and great. But God, Lies of P is so damn good. I am just completely, the only time I played something else was to play the next game we're going to talk about with you guys. And yeah, I can't think of anything else until this game's done. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lies of P.
Lies of P.
She's good.
A ringing endorsement.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit more about Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Last week when we talked,
please do, because I am installing it right now.
Cool.
Nice.
I only got a few hours and into it. The last time we talked, that wasn't really enough time to get a really good feel for what this game is like. I had used Sub-Zero pretty much all the time, in the story mode and stuff up until that point. So the game felt a lot slower because that character is a lot slower. But I think overall, not everybody is as like slow as that character. So, speaking of the characters, though, I am having fun with practically half this cast so far.
That's good.
That's good.
And that's taking into consideration that a lot of the characters I don't even really know because the 3D Mortal Kombats are just like I have no idea. But after playing through the story mode, which is pretty fucking good, by the way, I found myself gravitating towards the new characters and stuff, and it's like I wanted to check out their moveset, and then it's like, oh, that's a really fun combo to do, and it's like, okay, all right, let me try that with this assist, this cameo. It's like, oh, that works too. Okay, that's a lot of fun. There's been a lot of reasons to stick around in training mode, to practice shit. It's been a really good. I've warmed up to it completely and totally.
Good.
But speaking about the story, like I think I like the story of 11 a little bit better. However, the just bonkers nature of what happens in the last chapter of Mortal Kombat 1, it begs you to play it more than once. And I think that's saying something. Like you want to see what's it's very hard to not spoil it, but
so you say it makes you want to play it more than once. Is it a static story? It's the same story every time and you just want to relive it, or
kind of
are there changes?
There are changes.
Okay,
there
impressive.
Are changes.
Okay.
But it's not based on changes that are decisions that you've made along the way. It's different amounts of fan service about that. It is off the walls, and I immediately played the chapter over again just to see what was different this time around. It was very cool. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
So what changes it then?
It's really hard to.
Yeah, don't say anything. Yeah, if you're going to spoil something,
Okay.
just experience it. Yeah, I want to see it myself personally.
Okay. Yeah. It's installing, so I'll get a chance to.
I got literal laughs out loud. I got guffaws. I'm like, are you seeing this shit? Kind of moments. It was really cool.
It just hit me when Jason was talking about like choice and the story and stuff like that. It just hit me that I completely brushed over that with my Lies of P conversation because of like how good that was, and then the lie and truth system and stuff. So, yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm actually surprised that you were saying that you were warming up to it, because I got the impression that you immediately kind of fell for the game. So, what was it that you were warming up to?
Just the game in general, I think. And just like on face value, it doesn't have the full featured, features that like Street Fighter 6 has. It doesn't have, the really robust training system or things like that. So it seems like on paper that it's just not up to snuff. A lot of people are calling it rushed. I can see where they're coming from, but I mean, I'm not going to say that they actually rushed this or not. Go ahead.
I haven't played that much of it, but I felt, at least for Mortal Kombat, it has one of the better tutorial systems they've ever had.
It does have a pretty good, like, they give you scenarios in which you can practice on for sure. But,
and they teach you like overhead, they teach you pressure, they teach you like good times to use the cameos. Maybe compared to, Street Fighter 6 is like, and
that's their competition now, so it's like they need to hit that bar, in order to remain competitive. But I don't know. I'm not sure that they're hitting it, to be honest, but I think we're there.
I'll never like Mortal Kombat more than Street Fighter in terms of gameplay, but I don't think they need to be competitive, because Mortal Kombat's going to sell a lot more than Street Fighter 6 will.
Yeah,
that's just because that series always does. But I don't prefer it by any means, but Mortal Kombat's a
But
juggernaut
that's the thing.
when it comes to
I think
fighters.
Sure.
I feel like based on what you guys talk about when you talk about Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat, that it's appealing to a different audience. Like you,
Oh, yeah,
like you're focused
absolutely.
on more on the story, the story mode within Mortal Kombat, whereas Street Fighter has always been about the competitive scene, like
Mhm.
always.
Mhm.
You know, so you know, I just feel like that sets it apart, and they're trying to make themselves a bit different. Like you said, they're never going to be. They're never going to beat Street Fighter in the competitive scene, but they don't need to because there's a different competitive scene with them. Like you
Yeah,
still
they
go to
have their
Evo,
own
there's still
stuff.
more combat, right? So, you know,
And their story, ever since 9, people have loved it. So they have that
Yeah.
whole audience that
Yeah.
Street Fighter doesn't get. And they've tried. They just haven't got there yet. Maybe
Yeah.
Street Fighter 7. But
Well, aside from the story
it's-
mode, they have the new mode called Invasions or whatever, and that has been kind of dragging. You know, that's that Mario Party looking board game.
Interesting.
That I'm not really super into because they keep locking paths down or
Mhm.
paths away from you, and you've got to find a key somewhere on the board, and you can't get like an overall view of the board to find out what you missed.
oh,
So you
Yeah.
just kind of randomly going back and it's like,
is
okay,
it
this
easy?
the
Is it
path?
random? Or can you get it like a guide and be like, I want to get through? Because I heard a lot of shit's hidden, locked away, like fatalities and stuff through there too.
Yeah,
Like to
that's-
open up stuff.
Yeah, that's where that stuff is locked up for sure.
Oh, I don't think I like that. So the whole move set of the in the game is
Not all of them, just some
Okay.
yeah,
stuff.
they give you one fatality and one brutality right away, but it's hidden behind like your character profile essentially, which is like how long you've played the game. So it's not
Okay,
necessarily just that mode, I don't think. So
Gotcha.
so yeah, there's opportunities to earn that stuff, but so yeah, I'm warming up to it. I'm still going back and forth on a few different things, but the important thing is that it's fun. And the other important thing, and that I haven't really had much experience with, is the online. And I've been hearing mixed results of that. Like I heard the beta was pretty good, but I've heard everything coming out of
Post-launch.
Post-launch, that it's a bad PC port, that it's really bad netcode.
The Switch version is supposed to be really good.
Oh God!
I saw like IGN gave it like a 3.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
oh, ow, really?
Yeah, it's really bad.
I
The
can't
side by
I don't
side
expect it.
comparisons are really bad. Like
Yeah.
it's embarrassingly bad. Yeah.
I don't expect it to keep up, but geez.
No. Yeah.
Like loading, like
It's
minute long loading times, and like
No,
Oof,
thank
man.
you. If it did
Yeah.
anything, God, it was borderline unplayable. The 11 on the Switch, it was really, really bad. So if it's anything like that, no, thank you. I'm done.
It
Well, I
looks
can't
really
imagine
pretty.
it would get
Yeah,
better.
it looks gorgeous. Gabe.
I wonder if
It's
NetherRealm's return on investment of like the development time that takes into creating the Switch version.
Mhm.
I wonder if that, like, because they keep doing it, so I wonder if that return on investment's worth it for them.
Hell of an install base on Switch, and as Jeff
Mhm.
mentioned, they are a juggernaut. And they sell copies, kind of
Mhm.
regardless. So I've definitely read a lot of Reddit posts where people are like, "Yeah, I'm going to pick it up on the Switch. I don't really care
Wow.
that it's a little
no,
less fidelity,
really?
but
it's more than that though.
yeah,
That's the
it is
thing.
more than that.
It's- Yeah, it's
But yeah,
from what I've
there's
seen again.
There's
yeah.
a market for it, for sure.
Yeah, there will be. I'm not
Um,
having too much fun with it yet overall. It has nothing to do with the game though. Just the DualShock or the
DualSense,
DualSense
yeah.
5 is fucking pure cheeks for fighting games, and now I
really-
see
that is
why.
not a good D-pad. Yeah,
No, I didn't get why. Like Eddie's a pad player, Eddie Kusanagi, and he was saying that he could not play Street Fighter 6 on PS5 when it launched because he could not use the PS5 controller.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't get it, because to me, I'm just like, it seems kind of similar, but I've never played a fighting game.
Yeah,
with
it
a pad.
doesn't look like it's that much different. Than the
Yeah,
others.
and then you watch Evo, and all the Street Fighter 6 players on pad are also using a DS4. They're not using the DS5.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
trying to
okay.
play Mortal Kombat with it, man, I see why. The D-pad is slippery as shit. It's not very responsive.
it's not
doing
accurate. Yeah,
No, I like you said. Like, remember, Jason gave me has like turn off the negative edge, which I usually do in Mortal Kombat games anyway.
Mhm.
But I'm still like jumping when I don't want to jump, or not jumping when I want to jump, and dude, pulling off an amped special move, it's like rolling the dice for me. And it should be the easiest thing. You hit 2 buttons at the same time, because one of them's the trigger.
Yeah.
I don't know where that trigger tells the game that you're hitting it, but I cannot find that sweet spot at all. I cannot do, like, I'm trying to do the combo trials. I'm like, this is literally just doing like an EX move in Street Fighter, and I cannot do it on this pad.
Yeah.
Can you change it from the trigger to the button?
I haven't tried, but
like R1 instead of R2? Yeah. I feel like you would have more success there.
Yeah, I should probably do that, but instead I just went ahead and ordered one of those Brook Wingman FGC adapters that I originally ordered and then canceled.
It's a good investment. Yeah, that's what I'm using too. Like, I'm using an Xbox controller with the adapter. So, and I'm really happy with that.
Because I have I'm installing it on Steam, so I'm going to be using my Xbox One controller.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, she should be all right. And another thing is, like, the D-pad is so close to that, like the, I don't know what you call it, the big ass button on the PlayStation 5 controller, the touchy one,
touchpad,
the touchpad,
touchy one.
like, because it's so freaking slippery. I hit that all the time. I'm like, oh my god. So I just gave up today. Like, I did some of the story after I gave up on the trials. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do some story just so I can talk about something. I did like the first like 5 matches. Then I'm like, you know what? This thing should get here by like next week, mid to late next week. So I'm just gonna put it on hold and wait so I can use my stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll rock a stick, or do you think you'll use the controller?
No, I'll probably go to stick, probably.
Really?
Most likely. Yeah. I played Mortal Kombat 11 and 10 on a stick. So
there you go. Okay. I tried it for a little bit. No, I just have a hard time hitting block with my ring finger.
Oh, you know what? Now that you just
Not only that, there are instances in which they want you to use the right stick. They want you to flick the right stick, and you don't have that on the stick.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll just get used to. I'll just suck it up and use the Healy pad or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
And see that's kind of what I'm getting to too, about them going different directions, because Street Fighter still feels like it could easily live in an arcade. Mm-hmm. And the more you talk about Mortal Kombat, the more it can't. It doesn't seem like it could.
It's
the stick flicking though. That's for the board gamey thing though, right?
Yep.
Or is that for the actual matches too?
Okay.
No, it's not for the matches. Not that I've seen anyway. I think it's just that board game stuff when you have like these specific talismans equipped, and you can do a special move like throw a fireball. Like, wow, that's necessary. I needed that.
Even Street Fighter 6 was annoying, being in like the story mode, like having to control a camera.
Yeah,
that took some getting used to.
But at least they had a way around it.
You can do it. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I do like the flow of it though. I mean, it flows like Mortal Kombat, and I'll still prefer like stuff like Street Fighter. I think it just flows a lot better. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like Mortal Kombat games flow in chunks, just because the way the combos are built. But yeah, I like them. I'm going to jump into more. Hopefully I get the adapter next week.
Cool. I hope the online keeps up for us. That would be nice.
Yeah, I'd like to try it. Yeah.
It's fun. All right.
Word.
What have you guys been playing besides these games that we mentioned? Did we play something together?
We did.
Do you want to go to that now?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. Played Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah, we did. Multiplayer.
We played 4-player Baldur's Gate 3, and it was fun as hell.
I'm going to tell you, I had more fun playing with you guys than I have had playing that game single player. Straight up.
Really?
Sure.
That was such a great time.
That makes sense. Like,
that was such a great time.
And I have to admit that I think it was, I'm glad that while we were playing, we were actually sitting through all the story stuff so that Jeff could watch it.
I still don't know what the hell's going on.
I actually appreciated I appreciated what was going on. Well, I mean, essentially right now, all you know is that there's a worm in your head.
That sucks.
Like that's all you really know, is that there's a worm in your head. Right. So that what's going on is you haven't gotten that far.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I just mean,
go into like
I think
the story
naturally
what gets thrown at you in chunks.
No, but I understand that. But I just mean like even like conversations that we've had in the game, like talking to characters, I'm not really retaining it because just naturally playing in a co-op environment, there's gonna be still some banter, and it just kind of throws like I am not like honestly like there were times when we finished a conversation, I'm like I don't even know what we just talked about. I don't even know what I'm supposed to get, which I'm fine with because you guys have already played the game.
Right.
some of you, like Jason's beat it, you're in like Act 3, and Travis has played quite a bit. So I don't mind. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just here for the ride at this point for the co-op stuff. Like,
and
No,
you've got
for
some
sure.
really good like leaders, that would never steer you astray.
yeah, some good
or,
Never. Oh my god. Okay,
never tell you to do anything that could harm you in any way.
no, that was okay. So we really need to stream this hopefully one day, but
Yes, absolutely.
this would have made some good streaming content. But I didn't know what the hell we were doing in the first like area, and everyone's kind of grabbing loot and stuff. And Jason's like, "Oh, Jeff, don't forget to grab your something." I can't remember what it was
This
called.
purple like tank or something. Yeah.
Purple
the
tank
purple tank,
things or
purple
whatever. And I'm like, "Oh, where is he?" He's like, "Oh, it's over here." And the thing is, Travis and Chris didn't say anything. They're just kind of like, they weren't snickering. They might have been snickering like
I
silently.
didn't know what was
like,
going to happen. I had no
They
clue.
were standing right next to you.
I
yeah.
immediately went the other direction. I was like, "Peace out."
So I hit this thing and boom, I'm on fire, and like whoever's next to me is on fire. And I was like, son of a bitch.
great.
And yeah, there's some more. And then there's a part where there's a portal, and Jason's like, "Hey Jeff, don't forget to go touch the portal." I'm like, "Nope, I'm not falling for that." He's like, "No, seriously, it's a story thing."
I was like, "No, really, you need to go do that. Seriously."
So I don't trust these motherfuckers at all playing it unless like, nope.
Probably better off. It's a safe bet.
more to what Jeff was saying though, like it definitely isn't as conducive to like digging into the storyline when you're playing co-op. It really is more about this getting out into
Just
the sandbox
fun.
as much as you can, and that's really the highlight of co-op. I can't imagine playing the entire game like from start to finish in a co-op, and I know people are out there are going to do it.
Mhm.
I just can't imagine that being I can't imagine that being the optimal experience when you actually want to ingest the story. I feel like that needs to be a moment where you sit down and just watch. You sit down and just like really imbibe everything.
And more than that, like what I would say is that if you're playing this game and you're only playing it co-op with other people, granted, you're going to have a lot of fun with the game, but you're also doing yourself a disservice because you're missing out on a lot of storylines that are really, really interesting. Like there's so much that you're missing out on without using the origin characters. I would almost say if you want to only play in a co-op environment, then don't make your own character. Everybody grab an origin character and play.
I'll be your
that way you
Shadowheart.
can actually. That's right. You are our Shadowheart. You're our cleric. But yeah, absolutely. If you're going to play it that way, pick the origin characters, and so you understand their storylines. It's really.
But even the gameplay, playing at co-op, you're still doing the same things essentially that you were doing in your single player game, but like the ability to sit and focus on one character, one style of play, and not anything else. That was like that really. I got more immersed playing a Elven thief with you guys than I have been immersed with my single player bard character.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
I felt more in character playing with you guys than I did by myself. I'm just an elven rapscallion. Like I was, Chris was like, "Hey, Travis, you need some health potions?" "Yeah, I need some health potions." He's like, "Hey, okay, let me tell you what to do. Open up the inventory." "No, don't worry. I already pickpocketed you. I already got them, so we're good." I had a lot of fun jumping into that world with you guys. That was. I hope we can make it a weekly thing because
I like how you can kind of vote on things too. Not really vote, but when you're doing dialogue, you can see what other people want you to pick, and ultimately the person who's initiated the conversation can do that. I totally intend to start my single
play. That's a really cool
soon.
mechanic too.
Yeah, I want to try to get beyond where we are though.
I like how you can walk around too. Like you can like if you don't want to be a part of the conversation, like you can just back out, stop listening to the convo, and just roam around and do other things, which is really fun. Oh, and also like there are when Jeff we let Jeff do all the talking since he hadn't experienced the story yet. And what I learned was I know certain conversations, at least early on in Act 1, that could, if you mess up your rolls, it could lead to combat. So I was like, "Ooh, this conversation right here, this could get ugly." So I backed out of the conversation, got in the high ground because I had major critical hits with my bow. So I wanted to just hide, be out of line of sight, and get high ground because if the shit hits the fan, I'll be ready.
Nice.
But luckily, Jeff passed the the charisma checks, and we didn't have to worry about it. So yeah, but that's really neat. I like how you have that. You have that freedom in the single player, but it's actually kind of a hassle to like, okay, I'm going to take Astarion and I'm going to sneak him.
Well, you got to micromanage everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That micromanagement kind of gets, it's not as important. It's important because it's Baldur's Gate 3, but yeah, you can definitely just focus on
you don't have to worry about 3 other characters.
Yeah.
It's like sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say that's a quality of life thing that they could absolutely work on. Like it should, if you walk up, if you're playing as your main character and you walk up to a door that is locked, you shouldn't have to switch to Astarion and have him come up and pick the lock. Like you should just be able to say, you should be able to try and pick the lock, identify that you want Astarion to do it, and just go. That's that way. And then when it comes back, you're playing your main character again. And if you want to actually switch characters for whatever reason, you can. Like there are a lot of quality of life things that they could do to fit.
I mean, I thought that was clunky at first, but once you get used to it, I think
it's all about role playing and immersion. That they just want you to do that. Just kind of have those characters do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I get it from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah, I thought it was a little wacky at first when Chris and I played that both of us weren't able to talk to a shopkeeper at the same time. In retrospect, I'm like, well, he could actually keep the shopkeeper busy while I pick his pockets, and that's totally a thing. It's totally
you can do that in Divinity. That's a good way. That's a way to set all that stuff up. It's fun, and that's I'm trying to blast through Divinity now. I think I just might not bother with the end of it, just because.
Holy shit!
It's because I just want to get to. It's not so much that, because I mean, what I've seen so far, Baldur's Gate, it doesn't do anything that Divinity 2 doesn't do. It's just the production value is just way higher. Like all the mechanics are pretty much exactly the same that I've experienced so far. Even the controller layout and all the buttons, I was pretty much getting the hang of it right away. But I kind of because I tried to rush the last act of Divinity, it kind of hit a difficulty spike, and that's the kind of game where you kind of have to do a lot of the side stuff to keep your character leveled, and I just don't want to do that. And then once I played with you guys Baldur's Gate, that kind of sealed it. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to beat Divinity. Maybe I'll come back to it one day, but I'm just gonna So I don't know if I'll start it this weekend, but I want to definitely get to a point where I'm definitely further in the story than wherever our co-op game is, just so I can just not care about that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be fun. But even if I don't start this weekend, we're still playing on Tuesday or whatever day we want to do it. So
yeah, I think we stick to Tuesdays for now, and I'm definitely on board with that.
Until Chris has to do his Destiny stuff. And we switch to Monday?
But that's not until like February.
Oh, okay.
So we got plenty of time.
Not for a while.
Time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But I gotta say, so I want to call out the characters. So Travis said he was a rogue. Jason was playing the cleric,
dwarf.
The dwarf cleric, and Jeff picked you're the spellcaster. He was a warlock, right?
A warlock.
Ended up picking.
Badass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really fun little time making a little half elf, or no, I'm sorry, not a half elf, a halfling. That carries a big two-handed sword, and that's bigger than her. And it's absolutely
it's huge.
We got the sword in the beginning.
It's great. It's great. But yeah, still having a lot of fun with that game. Yeah. Any other comments? I'm almost done with it now. I have like one or two side quests left, and then it's on to fight the big bad.
Have you hit max level yet? I assume so.
Oh God, yeah, I hit max level a long time ago. Yeah. If you're doing the side quests, you're gonna hit max level. I think I was about 10 to 15 hours into Act 3.
Yep.
And I hit max level.
Cool. Yep. All right. Just checking.
Word.
I do think I'm gonna I want to do another playthrough, and I'm gonna do some mods, because there's a mod to actually get to level 20.
Oh wow.
And they kind of speed up the leveling process compared to what's in D&D, but you can get to level 20. However, you have to multi-class. So you get 12, you can get 12 in one and 8 in the other, or something like that. So that it scales right. But of course, when that happens, you're going to just walk through everything at the end. So, but it would be pretty cool to see what you can build.
Yep.
So I thought I was going to have another game to play. This is a little side anecdote. I did think I was going to have something new to play. I saw the hot reviews for Cyberpunk for Phantom Liberty, and pretty pumped about the 2.0 update and everything. But I wanted to experience it all like in the DLC. So, I downloaded it, bought the DLC, and went to pop it on, and I had 4 days until I could play Phantom Liberty.
Yeah,
so I thought,
I don't think it's out yet, right? Yeah.
no, it's not out yet. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, the patch came
Or
out.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to grab that eventually too.
Yeah. So
Looking
I was
forward to
excited and then immediately got shot down. So,
Oh,
yeah, I was disappointed. So next week we'll talk about Cyberpunk. I'm
Cool.
excited to jump back into that. And I did see, and I was crossing my fingers because I know that the DLC takes place before the ending, and like the endings are okay, but I just felt a little bummed by all the endings that I got. They do unlock, completing the DLC does unlock a true ending for Cyberpunk Vanilla, which is very, very cool. That makes me very happy. So I hope that turns out pretty fun.
neat.
Nice.
All right, what's next?
That's all I got, man.
I think I'm going to beeline at the end of Starfield at this point.
Okay.
Again, because I want to be able to get into Baldur's Gate before another game comes out. Because I'm like 70 hours in, done a lot of side shit,
Okay.
and I want to see, and I'm at a point in the storyline now, I think I know what the New Game Plus is all about, or at least what,
You get an
like I have
idea.
a theory. Yeah, I have an idea of what it does. And I kind of want to see that before I get burnt out to the point where I want to play something else. So I kind of want to do that. And so that's what I'm kind of doing. I'm just focusing on the main story, and that main story does get good. It gets
real
very good. I will say the last mission I did, I thought was going to be pretty cool. That has a really cool like mechanic, not super original or anything, but a cool one. But I felt you get lost too easily in that part. So I'm kind of happy to be through that. I think you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yep. It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. But I was getting frustrated, especially when I wasn't paying attention to health and I died, and the autosave was from about 40 minutes from, and I'm like, the one time I don't save scum in it, like not necessarily save scum, but save every like 5-10 minutes because it's a Bethesda game. I didn't do that. And I'm like, son of a bitch. But is that close to the end of the main story?
Yeah, you're pretty pretty close to
pretty
the end.
close.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully I'll be done with that next week because I want to at least try the New Game Plus and then wait for play something else and do that.
Well, and the cool thing is, even if you decide, I mean, you're 70 hours in, so I'm assuming you've done a lot. But even if you feel like you still want to explore more later on, like the New Game Plus option it is an enticing option to go out and
well, that's another reason why I stopped the side stuff. I did 3 of the main factions, and I did 2 or 3 of the kind of smaller ones, and then I still haven't touched my activity list hardly at all. And I know a lot of cool stuff comes from that.
And
so I'm just like, I could do it later.
You can beeline it like straight through the story, like some people online has said. But like, I do feel like you need to level up some. Like you need some of that side stuff, because if you start New Game Plus, I don't know, it is nicer to be much stronger going into New Game Plus, because there are story implications, and like in order to feel those story implications, it helps to be leveled up. So
yeah, well, I mean, I'm level 30 something, so I'm not like I'm not under leveled, but like I am. It's not difficult for me at all. Any of the encounters I'm getting in, it gets dropping things like 2 hits basically. Yeah, and even space combat's been a breeze. But other than that, the only other new thing I guess I've messed around with is F-Zero 99.
Oh yeah,
you played that
at all?
Okay.
Yeah,
no,
I did play. I did play a few rounds of that. The first round, I came in first place.
Whoa!
What?
And then realized it was all AI because because the first race they
like,
put you in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, this game's too easy. I'm like, fuck, I didn't even like play F-Zero back in the day. I'm fucking rad. Hell yeah, I'm the Nintendo master or whatever. And it was only against 25 people. I should have known, especially because I was like, not everyone people weren't assholes online. Like they weren't like bumping me constantly or nothing. And the reason I thought it was real people, because towards the end in the last lap, I passed the guy who was in first, and then they sped up and passed me. And I was like, oh, okay, so they're saving their boost too. So then I boosted at the very last second, like, yeah, first place. And then I was like, oh, Okay, well,
That's so funny.
I never came close to that again. But sorry, what are you saying, Travis?
I'm just saying that's hilarious, man. It's so Jeff.
Oh man,
That's so Jeff.
yeah. So I did. So the first three races, they build you up to 100 people, and then the ones I actually did that were 100. I never came below 50th, so I'm happy about that.
There you go.
So at least I got the top half. And they have like the one race the two types of race I did was the 99, which is just you versus 99, one round, like 3 laps or whatever, winner or whatever. Then there's a Grand Prix one, which is like 4 races, I think it is, and then it cuts off people, kind of like Fall Guys. So like after the first race, it cuts off like 20 people, and there's going to be 80 people in the next race, then 60 people, and then like 40 people. And I did make it to the last race on that. I think I came in like 38th or something, but
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's it's a simple game to play, and it's hectic.
I think it's a super novel idea. It came out of nowhere in that Nintendo Direct, and I thought it was genius from the start. Hopefully, it's successful. And they're
going to take it away eventually, like they do with all those games, which sucks. But it's it seems to be doing all right so far. And they added some more stuff into F-Zero. Like they have like if you build up your boost meter all the way, you get these like power ups. You kind of go on a track above the track, which has less traffic, and it kind of makes it a little bit. It's not necessarily shortcuts, but because there's less traffic and stuff, you can kind of get a little bit of headway. And it's there's some strategy in it, which obviously I haven't figured out yet. But because I don't understand how people are getting into like first, second, or in top 10. Because it's insane, but it's fun. It's cool. It's free.
People just have the gift, man.
Well, I guess it's not free, but yeah, some people there's some people, because when you're doing the lineup at the front, it's like loading everyone in, and it'll sometimes show like a trophy above there to how many they've come in first. And, you see like 1, 3, 4, like, okay. Then one guy had like 104. I'm like, oh my God, like,
Jesus.
What the fuck? Is Game Genie work on this too? Like, what is going on? But it's pretty cool. Definitely recommend it. It's, definitely a cool way to kill like 10, 15 minutes here and there.
Chris, you're muted.
Man,
that's pretty much it.
I am muted. Yep.
That's so Jeff.
That's good.
Yeah, so Jeff.
Serious.
Call me Jeff. It's fine.
Chris, have you been playing anything different, or Jason already said he's done?
Yeah, I
Travis
know.
won.
It's been all Baldur's Gate, just trying to finish it up.
Yeah, well, that's it on my end too. Okay,
All right.
you want to do a little bit of news?
Yeah.
Do we have some news? What do we got?
There is some news. Two things happened. Both of them are Xbox related. There's good news for Xbox, and there's some bad news for Xbox. So, I guess the good news is the CMA.
The way of things.
Yes, the CMA has basically approved the ABK deal.
Country Music
today.
Awards?
The Country Music Awards is coming to Game Pass everywhere.
Nice.
So they just got to cross the T's, dot the I's, sort of thing before the October 18th deadline. But so that's going to go through. Bad news: whoever was in charge of uploading documents to the FTC,
Oh no,
from Microsoft, forgot to redact a bunch of shit and put it on the public server.
Oh
So-
no.
Yeah, there was a bunch of leaks this week regarding Microsoft and Xbox. So, you guys want to go through some of these?
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of these
course.
are
Give me the hot
some of
goss.
these are just like some of these are like, okay, cool, of course, whatever, that we knew about this. And some things like, okay. Like Elder Scrolls 6 confirmed exclusive. Think everyone figured that was going to be
We're
the case.
expecting that.
Figured that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, where are my glasses? Put this in too small. There's going to be new Xbox Series consoles next year. In terms of like, not a lot of people are calling them a refresh, but they're not really. They're not a refresh like the Pro and the One X are. They're refreshes like the Slims are.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the X Series is going to be 2 terabytes, and it's also going to have no disk drive. And it looks like a cylinder. It's Prime Buster put it best when he's like, Microsoft saw the GameCube and said, no, wait, it's the Game Tube. I thought that was pretty funny.
Nice. Well done, Prime.
Yeah, it kind of looks like an Alexa, and
It does.
a new
Yeah.
S,
Nice.
a new S as well, which will probably just be redesigned or whatever. Oblivion and Fallout 3 remakes are in the works. Probably next year. Dishonored 3. Sorry, go ahead, Travis.
I'd be down for an Oblivion remake.
Yeah,
I
check those
love
out.
that game. I mean, if it's a considerable remake,
Yeah, if it's just like the same game, just
I don't
up-res,
want an HD version of that. It would still look like garbage.
Yeah, no, it needs
If it's
to
on
be like
if it's on
what
the
their
Skyrim
Starfield.
if it's on the Skyrim engine, I'd be okay with it. I think. I'd
Yeah,
be
even
okay
that
with
would be all right.
Yeah, I would be okay.
Dishonored 3, which I was happy to see just because they were doing something besides just Redfall for Arcane.
Mhm.
Right.
Doom Year Zero, which apparently is a prequel to the reboot in 2016.
Cool.
New Xbox console is supposed to launch in 2028.
Okay.
And Phil in some
Like next
emails
gen?
talked about
2028.
yeah, like their next gen console.
Right.
Phil apparently talked in emails about possibly acquiring Warner Brothers, Valve, and Nintendo. And that one had a lot of people up in arms, like Nintendo, oh my god! But it's not like they were like, who wouldn't want to acquire Nintendo?
Right.
Never will happen, but unless
Don't
Nintendo
say
wanted to sell, but I don't see
say
why they
never.
would want to. No, yeah. So they're getting on a lot of fire. A lot of shit has been prematurely released to the public, but some of these are very old. They could have been from before even the Bethesda merger. So Phil has come out and said, listen, we saw what was leaked or whatever, and it's disappointing, but a lot of that has changed basically. But we'll let you guys know when it's time to let you guys know.
Sure. Thanks, Phil.
So yeah. Well, what else is he going to say? Well,
Yep.
yeah, that's it.
Yes, we're
There
buying
you go.
Nintendo.
Yeah. And then TGS was last week too, but I'm not sure if you guys want to talk about anything specifically that you guys saw there, but
The Dragon's Dogma gameplay looked
Yep.
fire as all
that did
hell.
look good.
Yeah, it looked
Yep.
really good. Yeah.
Oh,
That was really
that
the
did
only
look
thing
good.
I saw.
that
was the only thing I saw, yeah.
Spear mage, dude. Oh, yes.
Mm.
That looks, yeah,
Yeah.
give it to me.
That is an easy day one.
Mhm.
I'm excited for Dogma 2.
Hells yes.
It does look cool. But yeah, I'm trying to think, nothing right off the top of my head to kind of think of that was like, oh, that's kind of work. Because a lot of stuff was we already know.
Yeah.
Even I'm trying to think. Oh, what's it called? Drop, which I bought too. I haven't played yet. I haven't loaded up the DLC for Resident Evil 4.
Hmm.
That was
Okay.
dropped that day.
Is that free DLC like the Ada storyline stuff? Is that
No,
all-
but it's only like $10, but it's
Okay, good. That's
yeah,
fine.
it's not
That's fine.
free.
I mean, I spent $5 on extra, treasures on the map. So I
Oh
mean,
yeah, so did I.
what's
I
$10
did
bucks?
that too.
What's $10?
I got those extra skins and stuff. I'm like, yeah, why not? I love that game. That might be end up being my game of the year.
It's so
We'll
good.
see.
It's so good for a remake to have that much praise from you and I. I mean, it's something special. They did a good job.
It got me. All right, that's pretty much it for this week. We do have some listener feedback and questions and so forth.
Cool.
So forth at Good English.
Always
Jeff.
welcome.
Evil Pirate John.
Mm-hmm.
He
Hello,
says,
man.
what other gaming podcasts do you guys listen to? Do you have any recommendations?
I'm podcasted out, man. By the time I get done talking to you guys, I'm like, I don't want to deal
I don't
with
want to
other
do
folks.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's football season, so any podcast that I'm listening to is like New Orleans Saints news or fantasy football stuff right now. I don't have any bandwidth
Yeah.
for gaming podcasts right now. Like I'll like look, if I'm searching for a game and it's a clip from a podcast, like I'll watch it, but like I have nothing in my RSS feed right now.
Yeah. Same.
Same. Yeah.
Really?
I don't really have the time for podcasts anymore. So
Just keep listening to us, John. I mean, that's what I would say.
I still listen to a lot. I don't have a lot to do, and when I am working, I'm open to listening to podcasts. But it's the standard stuff. It's your Giant Bomb, your Next Lander, a lot of the kind of funny
I've heard of those
stuff.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. Might have spent a minute in one of those. Some of the IGN ones. One of the newer gaming ones is the MinMax show, which
yeah.
Jason was actually on a while ago when Street Fighter came out.
Mhm.
I came upon that one about a year ago, maybe just
Mhm.
over that, and that's a good one. I highly recommend. But other than those ones, it's sports stuff. I got to listen to a couple of basketball ones, so game related, not really. Besides the ones I've been listening to for like well over a decade now. Why do I always put my phone down like you guys have this pulled up in front of you? Thanks, John.
I mean, we can start pulling it up if you want us to.
No. I write them down and then I should just probably just put them in there.
Yes.
Amy Maisie.
Hi.
He says,
Amy.
Hey, Amy.
"Oh, I am late to the party, but she is not late to the party because we were recording today
Haha.
and not yesterday." What is a pop? I like this question. I should have. I think we can do this on the fly, but I forgot to put this in the Discord before recording. But what is a popular, highly rated game that you just can't bring yourself to play or couldn't continue? I keep trying to play Persona 5 and lose interest quickly. People give me a hard time saying that I'm missing out. Right off the bat, I'll say that's one of mine. I've tried multiple times to get into the Persona games, including 5, and I put 25 or 30 hours into Persona 5, and it didn't grab me. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I brought up Sekiro earlier. Yeah, it's a FromSoft game, so I feel like I am contractually obligated to enjoy that game, and I just can't. I've probably started it 3 separate times, and I fall off at the same exact point because I'm just tired of the frustration. And everybody's there are people out there, a minority of people that say that it's their favorite FromSoft experience, bar none. And I just can't get into it. And I'll probably try again after the success of Lies of P. So that's the first one that really pops into the front of my mind. Yeah.
More recently, Starfield. I just there's just like no desire to play that game for whatever reason, and like I like space just fine. Space is cool, right? You know, astronauts cool. Guns.
What about an older game? What about one that like people have for years have been like, how can you not have played that or like that game?
Yeah, I wonder. There's a lot that I've tried that I probably didn't stick with. I can't think of any offhand though.
Well, I think Uncharted's a good one for you, Jason.
I've tried all those. Like I've played all those, and a lot of them to fruition. So
okay.
You just don't like them.
They're just quick jaunts. Yeah, they're just movies essentially. So I don't know, man. Let's stick with Starfield.
So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna approach this from a different angle.
Good.
I mean, if anybody's been listening to this show since when we originally did it, everybody knows that my favorite genre is Metroidvania. Right? And I like a lot of those games.
Ooh.
And people fucking love Hollow Knight.
That's such a good one.
Three times to get into that game, and I just can't. I don't know why. I think it's probably because it feels like all of the upgrades are just upgrading the map, and that's not satisfying for me. And
no, same.
I can't do it. I've tried 3 times and I just can't do it. But there's others in that genre that I didn't like at first, and then I came back and loved it. Like Ori and the Blind Forest was that way. At first it was kind of like meh, and then I came back and it was like, holy shit, this game is
Did you play Will of the Wisps?
I have Will of the Wisps. I have not gotten through it yet.
It's so good. Oh, I know. So much better than the first one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But another one that's like Axiom Verge. Axiom Verge, I tried it. The first time I tried it, I was kind of turned off by it. Came back and just went straight through, you know? But Hollow Knight, I've tried 3 times and I just can't.
That's a good one because Hollow Knight is great, Chris. You're missing out.
I don't feel like I am. I don't know.
I say that.
It's not fun.
I say that
because Amy said, yeah.
I say it in jest because I was gonna just speak to Amy and just be like, look, fuck what other people say. Like, if you don't enjoy that game, you are not missing out. It's simple as that. Like,
absolutely, you're right. You're right. Everybody
missing out on nothing. Yeah.
They're projecting onto you if you don't like it, you don't like it. So fuck it.
Yeah.
My famous one that I get to still to this day, and I've tried multiple times. I've bought it on multiple things. That's Metal Gear Solid 3, man. Whoa. I do not like Snake Eater.
Me too.
God.
I'm the same way. I don't know why. Like I've played and finished
far
1.
the worst.
That hurt.
I played and finished 2.
That hurt.
I played and finished 4. I played but did not finish 5. But I've tried Metal Gear Solid 3 like 2 or 3 times as well, and I just could not get through it. I
I've
don't know why.
tried it on PlayStation 2. I tried it on Vita. I tried on.
It's getting re-released again. We'll try it again, Jeff. We'll try it again.
It's like I don't even know you guys.
That hurts, man. That's a deep burn,
dude. I've played 1 the most out of all of them. I played that the most times. I've played 2 multiple times, and I've played 4 1.5 times, and 5 is my favorite. I love 5. And
5 so good.
3, I just can't do it. Don't know.
3 is my favorite of all time, and it's definitely the one I've played the most.
It's so many people's favorite. I just don't. And I don't know.
I played 4 the most because I think I played through 4 3 times.
Wasn't a full blown remake leaked? But not leaked, but it was announced. Like
it was announced.
3.
Yeah, we're getting a full on. Yeah, so I'll try it again.
There may be a second life
controls
for you.
Like 5. Yeah. I mean, well, that's another thing we didn't cover in news, but the collection's locked at 30 frames on everything, which I'm like,
that's
why?
That's really
I don't know.
A bummer.
Yeah. That is, I don't understand that, but
it's weird
just because those games are ancient.
Yeah.
Greg Little. He says he actually did ask this a while ago. It was attached to one of his other replies, but I think I glazed over it because it was one of his like 5-paragraph ones. So sorry, Greg. But he's like, I asked you guys if anyone tried Idle Showdown or Holocure. They are both fan games on Steam, a fighting game and a survival clone, respectively. The theme is niche, but both titles had some buzz from fans of the genres.
Yeah, Idle Showdown did get a lot of buzz, and it's such a weird thing that it's like all these like idols. I don't know how they're handling all the licensing for it, which is really strange. But
now, what do you mean by idols? Like what? Like like K-pop stars?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I don't know how they're getting around that. Probably because it's a fan game. I don't know for sure, but they've been putting out.
Oh wait, you're serious?
Yeah,
it is K-pop star. Oh shit!
I don't know. Okay, I don't know if it's K-pop, but it's like idols in that
BTS.
respect. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And yeah, that game seems really, really solid. I played it a little bit, and it seems like super fun. If you're into that sort of thing, like it's an anime brawler through and through. I don't know about the other game though.
No, I've never heard of the other one. I'm assuming none of us have.
No.
Is that Jason?
Sorry.
No, I haven't. Sorry.
All right. Well, thanks, Greg. Thanks, everybody. Those are our listener contributions of the week.
Wasn't there a question from Ari O'Neill asking about co-op games?
Oh, yes, there was actually. Hold on. That
was the only one I saw. That was the one that I saw that I was preparing for mentally, and
I'm trying to think. Was that on Twitter or on Threads? I do remember seeing that now. I'm just trying to remember if it was on Threads or on Twitter.
I saw it too. So it must have been on Twitter.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I will never call it X, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
I won't either.
No,
and not even by choice. It's I can't. It's such a part of my muscle memory just to say Twitter. I can't do it.
Twitter.
Oh, I just think it's fucking stupid, so I just won't say it.
It is stupid.
It's my opinion, though. So you do you.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, Ari did write in. She says, "What is the longest co-op experience you've ever had? I feel like those Destiny, the Division MO type things wouldn't count here, but genuine co-op games that have lasted ages in the best way. I just hit the 40-hour mark on my Baldur's Gate 3 co-op run. Wow, I've not begun Act 2 yet.
I love it. Oh, yeah.
Haven't done Act 2 yet in 40 hours in.
Yeah.
No, has not.
Holy shit, we're in for a wild ride, folks. Good Lord.
So, like long term, it's so hard that Destiny's not a part of this conversation because that would be the easy
the first
answer.
one to go to, yeah.
But like long term, like playing with a group of people for a while, like seeing a game from start to finish co-op. Borderlands 2, I had a team for I would say about 80% of that game. I had a full team, and had a blast. Like that, there's no better experience co-op. Not there are better experiences, but like in terms of just how wacky the world is, the cool weapons, off loot drops, Borderlands 2 was a really, really good one. And then, God, played a lot of Left 4 Dead. I mean, I probably put about 35, 40 hours in a Left 4 Dead with folks. I mean, you
That
don't
was
play
one of
that.
the ones I was going to say.
You don't play that game solo. Like,
Left 4
So-
Dead, Back 4 Blood. Like we played that one too.
God, that's a kind of a tough question in terms of like thinking of longevity. But yeah, those are two.
For length, if we're just I'd say Diablo 3 for me probably.
Yeah,
Played that more co-op with so many different people.
Mhm.
Yeah,
for so
especially
long
when
and
it
on so many
came-
different consoles.
Yeah, when it came out on PS4, it kind of revitalized everybody on it.
Hmm.
One that I'll throw out there that I'm not sure if from a time perspective it was a lot, but I remember playing it a lot with friends, like on short bursts, was Castle Crashers.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
that was
that's
just
a good one.
Fun ass game
Yeah,
We've
to
definitely
play
played that.
co-op.
Sure.
We played the shit out of that. So
just beat 'em ups
Um,
in general. It's a great co-op
mhm.
experience.
Mhm.
I
Still
think
gotta
like
play
3.
Ninja Turtles, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah,
Well, I bought it because you said let's play it.
I've been
We've
waiting.
never played it.
Yo,
So, no, I'm down. That
I
sounds
said
good.
something in Discord. Nobody said anything.
I
Like,
didn't.
let's play some TNNT. There was
I had
nothing.
to play something else that it was the same because it was the same week that
You drop
Starfield and
everything
what's it
for
called,
Ninja
Joe?
Turtles. Yeah.
how much is the DLC? Is it on Game Pass like
it's
the game is?
$8. Yeah, it's $8.
That's not too bad.
Yeah. It looks fun though. 2 new characters, survival
I'll
mode.
grab it.
There you go.
Mm.
Yes. Anyway,
Maybe
game.
that could be our longevity game.
My longevity game is PSO.
Ooh,
For
Oh,
sure.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Played a lot of that.
So I guess I kind of put that in the same category as Destiny
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah,
but-
that's why I didn't say
But I don't.
that.
But I'm not going to shoot that one down because it was one of the first ones. It was easily like one of the first like co-op experiences that
Mhm.
you could have online like that.
Mhm.
And you know, that's part of Jason and my backstory.
Yeah.
Like that's
I-
PSO
That's
is
how
part
we
of how
fell
we
in
ended
love.
up meeting. Yeah, that's how
I
we fell.
played a lot, but I didn't play a lot of like with the same people over and over. It was a lot of like you had friends requests and stuff in that game, and I would just go on there and see who was on and kind of like join their game and whatever. But there wasn't like a group of people because I was I think I was the only one of my friends with a Dreamcast.
Damn.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure I was looking back. So everyone I played with was like, oh, they're all like people on the internet and message boards.
Real people.
I didn't know what message boards were really, so I was just like, I'll just meet random people.
Mhm.
But at least I wasn't Millhouse throwing the frisbee to myself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Ari.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, Ari.
Is that a show?
I think that's a show.
I believe so.
So I wanna say
Wouldn't you
something
know?
real quick.
Do it.
So obviously on behalf of us four, but many months ago, we got some bad news from a listener of ours who's been a one of our biggest supporters and fans and also friends
Yes.
that we met through this podcast. His name is Brian Nobishan Jackson. He was months ago. He was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and he's gone through a ton of issues, a ton of chemotherapy, and we've done everything in our power as friends to wish him well.
We sent him steaks. We had
Sent
some
him
steaks.
steak.
Mm-hmm.
Just, but he had a surgery this week. I think some of the surgeries were even like experimental.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
8 surgeries in one to
12 hours.
fully
Yeah.
to fully get rid of the cancer. And he's got a little bit more of a journey to go, but we're happy to say, and so happy for Brian to say that it sounds like his surgeries were a massive success. And we hope that the follow-up diagnosis is a positive one. And we're thinking of you, and we love you very much. And best wishes, and we look forward to playing some more games with you in the future, bud. So
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Love you, Brian.
Hells yes.
all right, that's
Thank
the
you,
show.
Travis. That was a good way to end it out.
man.
Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please tell friends about us. Like, subscribe, and comment. That really helps. Also, check out our link tree. It is right below, but you can also get there by going to interactivedistractions.com. So until next week, my name is Chris.
I'm Travis.
I'm Jason.
Now I'm Jeff.
Play your games, and we'll talk to you next week.